Hello everyone and welcome. In this video, we will explore the cycle instruction and its different execution type, periodic, continuous and ticking. Cycle instruction allow you to repeat the execution of a workflow or a section of a workflow. You can use it to repeat an entire workflow or repeat selected job or instruction. Create sequential cycle using multiple cycle instruction. Create nested cycles by placing one cycle instruction inside another. If needed, the break instruction can be used to exit the cycle before it finishes. Let's get started. First, log in into Jog Cockpit. Here I am using account root and password root. First, click on the configuration tab, then navigate to inventory tab. From the folder tree panel on the left side, expand your folder structure. Navigate to your desired folder. Here I am using training folder. Expand the training folder. Now expand the controller section. Then select workflow to continue. Click three-dot action menu from workflow subfolder and select new. Create workflow dialog opens. Enter meaningful workflow name. I will use cycle instruction. Click submit. The graphical workflow editor opens. We will start by adding a cycle instruction to our workflow. Drag and drop the cycle instruction into the workflow editor. Next, add 5 jobs and name them job 1, job 2, job 3, job 4, and outside the cycle instruction add job 5. Configure job 1 by clicking on it. This opens the job property window. Fill in the required fields to configure the job. Repeat the same steps to configure job 2, 3, 4 and 5. Notice that everything placed between cycle is executed repeatedly. This means that job 1, 2, 3 and 4 will be executed repeatedly, while job 5 will be executed only after the cycle has finished. Let's select cycle instruction. On the right hand side, the property panel opens. Here you see label. Label is used to specify unique occurrence of instruction in workflow. Let's name it cycle. The one period only option is useful when you have multiple execution periods configured for the cycle. Let's understand this here with an example. Suppose you configure two periods, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. An order arriving at 9 a.m. by default, this order will run in 8 to 10 period and then run again in 11 to 2 period. Now, if you enable one period only option, the same order will run only in the first matching period, which is at 8 to 10, and it will not run again in the second period, that is 11 to 2. This option is useful when you want each order to be executed only once, even if it matches multiple cycle period. Next is cycle type. JS7 provides three execution types: periodical, continuous, ticking. Let's briefly look at each one. Periodical. First, select periodical. This option allows you to run a workflow repeatedly at fixed times within a specified period. There are two main settings. Period. This defines how the cycle repeats. For example, every 1 hour, 4 hour or 1 day. Offset. This defines the exact time within each period when the cycle starts. Let's look at an example. Suppose you configure period 1 hour, an offset of 0, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and 45 minutes. This means that every hour the cycle starts 4 times at 0 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and at 45 minutes. So if the period begins at the midnight, the execution schedule look like this: 0, so at the midnight, at 0 o'clock, then 15, then 30 at the midnight, and 40 at 45 at the midnight. Then the same pattern repeats every hour. If an order reaches the cycle instruction after one of these start times has already passed, it waits until the next configured cycle. If the execution of one cycle takes longer than expected, the next cycle starts immediately when the order reaches the cycle instruction. Next configuration is the admission type. This section controls when the cycle instruction is allowed to run. Admission type acts like a calendar filter. Even if the cycle is configured correctly, it will execute only on the selected days. Let's look at each option. Weekdays. Weekdays option lets you select the days of the week on which the cycle should run. For example, if you select Monday through Friday, the cycle will only run on weekdays and will skip Saturdays and Sundays. If the cycle is configured to run every day, Monday at 10 a.m. the cycle runs. Saturday 10 a.m. the cycle is skipped because Saturday is not selected. Then we have specific days. Specific weekdays option allow you to select a particular occurrence of weekday within a month. For example, you can configure the cycle to run on the first Monday, second Wednesday, or last Friday of every month. If you select first Monday, the cycle will run only on the first Monday of each month and not on the remaining Mondays. Then we have specific days. Specific days option lets you select exact calendar dates. For example, you can choose 1st of March, 15th of June, or any other date. The cycle will run only on those selected date and skip and will be skipped on other days. Then we have month days. Month day option lets you select the day number with each month. For example, you can choose the 1st and 17th day of every month. The cycle will automatically run on the 1st and 17th of each selected month, regardless of which weekday they fall on. You can also choose to count the days from the beginning of the month or from end of the month. Then we have period begin field. This defines when a cycle period starts. For example, if you set period begin to 8 a.m., the cycle start at 8 o'clock and begin executing the job inside the cycle instruction. You can configure multiple periods, each with its own start time, allowing the same workflow to run at different times during the day. Next is duration. Duration properties specify how long the cycle period remains active. For example, if the period begins at 8 a.m. and the duration is 2 hours, the cycle period remain active from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Any order that arrived during this time can be executed according to the cycle configuration. Once the duration ends, the cycle period closes and the execution continues only if another period is configured. Once you have completed the configuration, click Add Start Time Rule. The new rule is added to the table below, where you can review, edit, or delete it. You can add as many start time rule as required for your workflow. Now the next cycle type is continuous. Unlike the periodical cycle, a continuous cycle waits until the current cycle execution has finished. It then waits for the configured pause before starting the next cycle. This cycle type is useful when execution time of your job can vary, as the next cycle always starts after the previous one has completed. Now select Continuous from the cycle type drop down. The configuration is similar to periodical. However, instead of configuring offset, you specify pause, which defines waiting limit of 2 consecutive cycles. For example, if pause is set to 15 minutes, the order waits for 15 minutes after the current cycle has finished before starting the next cycle. Limit fields specify maximum number of times the cycle can be executed within the configured period. For example, if limit is set 3, the order can execute the cycle maximum number of 3 times. Now let's look at the ticking cycle type. The ticking cycle start execution at fixed interval, regardless of how long the previous execution took. Select ticking from cycle type drop-down. The configuration is similar to continuous cycle, just configure the admission type, period begin and duration as we have seen in, in our previous part of the video. Then specify the interval, which defines how often a new cycle starts. The interval field specify fixed time between cycle starts. For example, if the interval is set 2 minutes, a new cycle is scheduled every 2 minutes. If the previous cycle has already finished, the order waits until the next scheduled interval. If the previous cycle takes longer than the configured interval, the next cycle starts immediately when the order reaches the cycle instruction. And that's how we configure cycle instructions in JS7. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.